there was people there telling me when I was in that hospital, God's got a plan for you, you know, and I'm sitting there going, well, he's already showed me what his plan is, you know. He wants me to stay here and he wants me to be miserable. And that's the way I thought. I was like, you know, if back then I would say, if there's a God, why am I going through this? Why, you know, instead of accepting him, I just blamed him. I think that everything I was going through at the time was hate. I hated myself. I hated what I did to my family. I didn't hate my family. I hated my ex-wife. I hated, I don't know, everything that was going on in my life. I just couldn't stand it anymore. And I hated the fact that I was a drunk. I hated the fact that I did drugs. I hated the fact that my parents, you know, I did all this to everybody else. I never blamed anybody. When I came out of the coma, it was bad. I mean, my body was broken, and all this time for my whole life, I've always counted on myself. Well, myself is my worst enemy. You know, it always leads me wrong, and you know, from when I started drinking, it was always bad. I was always the one that got in trouble, or got in a fight, or lost the girl, or had the buddy's girlfriend. So it was always bad. But to me, that's all I knew. The next thing I know, I'm getting pulled over by the police again, and they only let you have so many DUIs in the state of Texas. And I just told my family, you know what? I finally got to a point where I've had enough. And I wouldn't let them bond me out of jail. I just stayed there. I said, they're going to lock me up anyway. So I go to prison, and I find out that there is another lifestyle out there, and that's a choice I can make if I want to be there. And I did. I was in the state penitentiary for 13 months. I go through, get out of prison, get back with the ex-wife again, and it doesn't take long. Within a year, I know that's not good. So I get into the programs of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. They talk about being spiritual programs. They're a soft way of somebody maybe getting some help. It took me a long time to figure out that why am I going to count on people just like me to teach me something different? Because they're just like me. And maybe it's helping them a little bit. Maybe we can learn from each other. But there's a whole new world out there that's not addicts and alcoholics. And how come they can be that way and and these people say that we're this way and that's the way we're going to be. Well, why can't we be just like those people? And for many years, I believed it. I mean, I believed that you have normal people and then you have people like me. And so I got married again, had a daughter. I thought that would fix me. It wasn't long, we were both doing drugs again. They almost took my daughter away, and that didn't stop me. And I bounced in and out again, and my family is gradually, over this time, my immediate family, my parents, from my mom, finally got to a point where I wasn't even allowed to come to her house, call her, talk to her. She couldn't do it no more. I had friends the same way, that were actually really friends, not drug friends, not bar friends, but actual people I grew up with. And I went into 3.5 years ago, I went into the Salvation Army. And that's where I met me and my wife. We didn't meet there, we'd known each other. I get this call and we go for a walk, and for the first time in my life with a woman, I was brutally honest. I said, we're taking a walk in a park, which is something I never would have done. And I tell her, I said, look, I don't know why we're here. I don't know why we're walking. I don't know why you called me. All I know is I have absolutely nothing to offer you. I said, I'm living in a homeless shelter. I said, all the things that a man should offer you, I don't have. I said, I'm a drug addict, I'm an alcoholic, and I'm staying in this place. And I really don't want another wife or girlfriend or anything. I've got a 7-year-old girl, and I really want to find a way to take care of her. And that's all I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't need any more of you. And she said, okay. And we walked around a little bit, and she said, well, I'll take you back to where you need to go. Something clicked, and it said, I just looked at her and I said, you know what? Somewhere deep in my heart, I feel right now that God gave you to me. And I said, we're going to go through some stuff. And I said, I really don't think I'm done yet, but God gave you to me. So I don't know what we're going to do with this, but okay, we can, if you want to try to make this work, we can. And some things happened, and we were drinking a lot and doing a lot of drugs. And I mean, it got to where I was doing drugs every day. I went from just doing a little cocaine and doing this to smoking crack. I mean, spending thousands of dollars. And in the past, I'd done some pretty hard drugs. I'd done needles. I had done, and I started doing that again. It's all the wrong people at the wrong bar. And I mean, I was off to the races, and some things happened with her, and she had had enough. She said, I'm done with the lifestyle of drugs and pornography and all this. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And she had taken some pills, and I was so far out there that I was like, just leave me alone. She hopped in her car and she tried to drive her car through a guardrail.